Let's talk about another poisonous plant, milkweed. So milkweed is a pretty common garden plant, and it is most well known for being essential to monarch butterfly development. So the monarch butterflies almost exclusively lay their eggs on milkweed plants, and that's where the caterpillars live and what they eat until they develop into the full monarch butterflies. Now, milkweed is toxic, but not to the butterflies, but we'll get into that in a second, but to pretty much everything else, it is toxic. So, milkweed contains the cardiac glycoside wabane. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I talked a little bit about cardiac glycosides before on a bunch of my other poisonous plants, because lots of them do contain cardiac glycosides, but what I haven't really mentioned is how they work. So basically how they work, the cardiac glycoside inhibits an enzyme called sodium-potassium ATPase. You don't need to know that, but basically what that enzyme does, it pumps sodium outside of the cell. Does that to do a bunch of osmosis things that nobody gives a shit about except for my cell physiology professor. But anyway, it inhibits that enzyme. That stops sodium from being able to be pumped out, and that starts it accumulating in the cell, causing all sorts of problems. And so, by extension, that is how wabane works. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. But yeah. So symptoms of this poisoning include nausea, vomiting, dizziness, all that, as well as things like headaches, confusion, as well as weakness and weak pulse, and associated cardiac problems, because cardiac glycosides cause problems in your heart. So heart palpitations, low pulse, all that, and eventual potential cardiac arrest leading to death. So yeah, don't eat this. It is not very pleasant, but how do butterflies do this, specifically monarch butterflies? So monarch butterflies specifically have an adaptation that makes them totally immune to wabane. And even more than that, since the caterpillars eat pretty much exclusively milkweed, they accumulate that toxin into their cells, and as they develop into adults, they retain that toxin, and that makes them not only taste absolutely horrible to predators, it also, they're toxic, so you don't want to be eating them. That's part of the reason for the bright colors on the butterfly wings as well. The orange caution signal basically shows that, hey, I'm toxic, you don't want to eat me. And that toxicity is due to the milkweed, which is due to the wabane cardiac glycoside. So yeah, unless you are a monarch butterfly, don't be eating this.